transportation. That's been people are buzzing. My kids won't be picked up by the bus. What's the reality of it?
No, the reality is, will there be a rift in transportation? Yes. Will it mean the kid won't get picked up by the bus? No.
Right.
We are looking at right now some restructuring of how we do transportation to perhaps make it more efficient and less expensive. But and there will be some rift in transportation.
But a kid may have to walk an extra block.
No, we're not.
You don't see that?
Not doing that at all.
Okay.
Don't see that happening at all.
All right.
You know, we've had, I mentioned earlier, declining enrollment, and quite honestly, over the last several years, there's kind of been a hesitancy to tell people to do a RIF. I don't want to do it.
Right.
I have to do it. But we have more employees than our revenues can support. That's an oversimplification, but the absolute truth. We don't have enough money to pay everybody.
Right.
I can't bring to the board an unbalanced budget. I can't. I have to bring one what it balances.
The $1 million question. Wish we had $9 million to give you, but athletics, where does that fall into the whole picture? I know it's a money maker on a big end, so where does it fit into your budget?
Nothing other than the classroom, outside of the classroom, will go totally unscathed, including athletics.
Okay. All right. Any hint to where it might, or are you still deliberating?
Yeah, I have some. There won't be any. I'm not planning to eliminate any programs. But the school district for quite some time, fairly recently, has been providing a lot of subsidies for different types of things connected to athletics and sports. We may have to reduce or eliminate those subsidies.
So if they're not the bare essentials of the program, chances are it could be on the elimination block.
Yep.
Okay.
Very likely.
Okay. When do you plan to implement? What's the plan from this point? How many days do you think it's going to take to notify the employees?
The RIF has spelled out. I'm going to be sending out to every single employee in Terrebonne Parish. Policy says to do that. Notify that we're going into RIF. Every employee must know. Then those employees who are actually going to be RIF must be given a 30-day notice. What I'm hoping to do, and this is going to be a very complex puzzle, it will not be easy, is by the end of the school year, or early into June, all employees will know where they stand. Teachers, for the most part, already know. They're going to have a job, certified teachers. It may not be in the same room they're in right now. It may not be in the same building they're in right now. I'm not promising that to anybody, but they will be employed. That's my goal. But those people outside of that category, I would like them to be able to know. So they have June, July, August, A, with income, B, with insurance, and C, with time to get on their feet, to go find something else.
Okay. So for 3 months, they're not going to be cut. Everything's in place.
No.
Okay.
Our employees that are less than 12-month employees, even though they may stop working May 31st, they're paid for June, July, and August.
Okay.
They receive checks. They've already earned that for the preceding 9 months. And their insurance stays in place. So I do feel that's my goal, to have people notified. So they're not just, today you're employed, tomorrow you're unemployed with no income and no insurance.
Right.
You have 3 months to begin. And you know, that is a very sobering thought to me, because I have to, for most of my life, if someone walked up to me and said, you don't have a job, they'd probably have to start resuscitating me. You know, so I know the seriousness of that. I take it
And you were a
extremely.
teacher. You weren't always a superintendent.
I lived check to check, you know, for most of my life. I know what it means. I know what a job means. I understand the significance, and I've stressed that to staff. You know, we sit here and devise these scenarios. Remember, the end of the day, that's a human face you're touching. You're touching a family some kind of way. If they didn't need the money, most of them would not be working. They need their job.
How about central office? Everything I mean, they sort of have earned seniority. Any changes?
Yep.
at
There
that
will
level?
be reductions in central office.
That's going to be a hard one. They're all hard, but
They are all hard.
Yeah.
They are all hard.
That's people you work with every single day.
Well, let me say this: at the central office, I started attrition there. I went 6 months with no assistant superintendent. I currently have not filled the elementary supervisor. For a district as large as ours, not to have a main curriculum supervisor. Fortunately, I have an assistant superintendent who's a workaholic and is very, very strong in curriculum, so is picking up that slack. But the central office, and I've told staff, we're going to lead by example. We're going to absorb our share of the cuts.
Okay. And that's a big statement. I think people would read into that from you and sort of take off of that, a leadership role. How are you holding up on all this?
I don't sleep nights. Over this issue. I told someone, I've always viewed myself as my career as helping people, not hurting people.
Right.
And it is a tremendous burden. I would publicly say when you're sitting in the chair and you got to decide which people are not going to have jobs, will not be employed any longer. That's a major life change when someone loses a job. I'm not going to categorize it with death in family. Certainly, it's not to that extreme.
Right.
But it's a major event when somebody loses a job and you don't know where your next check is coming from. I understand and appreciate the seriousness of that. And I'm going to do everything I can between now till that happens to save every single job we can.
And how important is it? I know rumors are circulating. That's why you're here.
That's why I'm here to try to say, okay, most of the rumors are not true.
Right. And that's the key, is to try to get it under control to where people don't start believing the rumors. So you think hopefully now that they'll get a good idea of what's going to take place?
I think so, and I do think we have been doing a better job perhaps of separating fact from fiction. And I spoke to a teacher, fine teacher. She found out that her job at that school was gone. And she asked her, what does that mean? And she was given a very short answer. Well, it means you don't have a job. It didn't come from me, it came from somebody else.
Right.
Well, she went to a state of panic, and when she came to me and said, you have a job, it's not at that school.
Right.
Oh, okay. Then it was the burden was gone. That oftentimes, and if people hear things that this doesn't seem right, most of the time because it's not right.